Okay, so our test, we have finished up this unit now, will be next Thursday in class. Should be back next Tuesday to go over any questions in class that you have. But please check out the sample test, and I'll pull that up here in a minute to show that to you. In addition to our sample test, in addition to the sample test, there are two things that aren't there. So on the sample test that you want to be aware of that we talked about, so please go back and look through these. One is the mid-range. Remember, mid-range is the highest plus lowest divided by 2, right? Please be careful not to confuse that with the range, which is the highest minus the lowest. Range is actually on your test. Uh, Remember, that's just the highest value minus the lowest. So be careful that you don't confuse those two or mix them up. I see people sometimes will do highest minus lowest divided by 2 for the mid-range. So that's also on your test, but that's not a part of the sample test. And the other thing that's not on the sample test that is on your test is what we just talked about, and that is the margin of error. Remember, the way we compute that is it's 1 divided by the square root of the number surveyed. And then we use that to show the range for the higher person, whoever's scoring higher in the polls. Okay, so those two things are also on your test, but they're not a part of the sample test. So remember, you can find the sample tests by hopping into our course, clicking on the course binder, clicking on the course binder. We are currently in the statistics unit. And I'll just move my window over here so you can see it. Right there, once you click on the statistics unit, there is a sample test. Just like before, you do have your sample test, and you do have an answer key as well where I work out each of the problems. I'm just going to click this link here, pull up the sample test so we can see it a little bit better here. So again, last page of your sample test, I do have that chart for the z-scores, and I do have a list of steps for standard deviation. So as you go into your sample test, you're going to see here that you're asked to do frequency distribution. So you're given a set of data here, asked to do a frequency distribution. Much like we did in 12.1, you're asked to do a histogram. Okay, you're asked to do a stem and leaf plot for a set of data, so remember how to do that. Then we're given a set of data and asked to do a group distribution for that set of data. Okay. We're then given a small set of data and asked to find the mean, median, mode, and on your test it will also be mid-range for that set of data. Okay. Then the same thing, mean, median, and mode from a group frequency distribution. Remember, the first column is your data value. The second column is the number that you have, the frequency for those data values. Okay. You're then asked to do the range for problem number 4. Okay. And then you're asked to do the standard deviation for a set of data. So here's a set of data here. Yours is probably going to be a little bit smaller than that one. That's probably a couple more data values than what I would put on yours. And then you're given a mean and standard deviation and asked just to compute the z-score only. So This is like we did out of 12.4, where we're just computing the z-score only. Okay, and then the test wraps up with some questions like what we just did here today, where you're given information. This example here, it was the SAT test again, and you're asked to find the percent of students in a particular range, particular situations there. In addition to this, your test will have one question as well dealing with margin of error. Okay, so that's the test. Again, please look over that if you find you have questions. We can take some time and go over any of those questions next Tuesday. I should be back for class by then. Other than that, good luck. Again, if you're running into any trouble or anything, you have questions, you can always email me as well. So good luck and have a great day.